Okay, hey, what's up, YouTube? Welcome to Play It Painted Live. Hope you guys are having a good Sunday evening. We're gonna get started here right away, and here we go with another one of these. So let's go ahead and open up my comments, and we're gonna try streaming, even though my boys are still awake. It's a little scary. Well, hopefully, we can have a decent stream. Let me go ahead and open up my live stream on YouTube so I can see comments. And let's go ahead and look at it. How do I forget. I keep forgetting how to watch this thing. Do I just no? Do I just go here? I think I just go there, and then I go click there. There we go. Okay, so yeah. So, hey, what's up, Matt? Welcome to the feed. Here we go, folks. Tonight we're going to be working on some Viktorias stuff. Mainly I'm going to be working on the rank and file stuff. I don't know how much we'll be working on the actual Viktorias, but here's them in all of their jumping, screaming glory. Had some issues with the build here. Wasn't the cleanest build. Okay, you can see some gaps there. Not great. But this is what we're going to do. We're going to get going. If you guys have any questions about painting or anything, now is the time. Right now, I'm going to start painting prospectors. Prospectors are pretty boring. Let me know how my sound is coming in. I think we're kind of choppy. Let me hear. Let's see. Had some issues with the build here. Wasn't the cleanest build. Okay, so it sounds like my audio is okay, but video may be a little on the choppy side, so I apologize for that. Okay, so that's a Ronin. That's not a prospector. So prospectors are going to be fairly plain Jane. They're going to be wearing like jeans and leather and that kind of stuff, and then like they're going to be more browns, whereas the or this is going to be like browns, and then we're also going to do some like khaki and that kind of stuff. Hold on, getting some messages here. Let's see. Yeah, and we're just gonna get going. Okay, so I think the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna work on some of the khaki stuff. Okay, so they're all gonna be wearing jeans. So this is gonna be Griff Charger gray there. This guy's wearing like overalls. So let's paint some overalls in. Maybe they should be darker. I could put them in like ultramarines blue for the overalls. That's probably better. Probably a better idea. And then there's going to be some areas here that I want to stay pretty light. So can I go ahead and tip this off here? All right. So if one of you could actually, I need to share this stream on the Comic Quest miniature painting thing. Because I did mention on that page that we are going to be doing some painting here, and if you have questions, this is probably a good time to go ahead and do that. Ask some questions here. So maybe I'll ask Andrew to share the that info once he hops in. Okay. But yeah, so the shirt here we'll start with Griff Charger gray on the shirt. Actually, no, we're not going to do that. We're going to do skeleton horde on the shirt. This will be ultramarines blue there, and then there's going to be some leather. It's going to be fairly boring, but they're prospectors, right? I mean, these shouldn't look really particularly gaudy or anything like that.
Oh.
What up, man? I heard him. I heard Andrew in there for a second.
Because I'm freaking live.
Whoa. Andrew working out some audio. Let's let him work out. So while he's working on that.
Oh yeah, the disc.
Whoa.
You gonna share us pay.
Yeah, if you don't mind, if you can share the link, the YouTube link to the stream on the Comic Quest Miniatures Facebook, that would be much appreciated, sir. All right. And we're going to keep these all, like, the prospectors are all going to kind of have the same palette. So, like I said, they are going to be a little bit boring, but, you know, like I said, they're prospectors. It's all good. This skeleton horn is just a nice quick way to get, like, a dirty shirt. So we'll just get a dirty shirt on all these dudes. Well, this one is, I think this one may be female. I'm not sure. It could either be female or it could be like a really, just kind of like a chunky male, because he's got the big arms, like a big bodied person, whatever it is. It's a big bodied person. Then you got old Cletus here. Cletus doesn't have, I don't think Cletus has a shirt. Oh yeah, he does. Cletus does have a shirt. He has like a, is that, or is that supposed to be skin? No, it's a shirt. If it's supposed to be skin, it's okay. We're upgrading you, Cletus. You get a shirt. Oh, thank you, sir. Oh, thank you. You kind soul. There we go. I love Cletus. Look at him go. He's awesome. Let's let some other people know. There's other messages coming through. What is going on? Okay. Okay. All right. So with Cletus, that's his shirt. Then we're gonna do. Let's paint the overalls. I have it's a sleeveless shirt. Could be. What's up, Scott? Welcome to the feed. I guess my question is, if I go Ultramarines blue, that's probably too dark, right? It's probably gonna make it look too brand.
Scored few.
Whoa. So I think what we're going to do is we'll do Griff Charger Gray, and we're going to do a little Talisar Blue on top of that. I think that's what we do. It might make it look a little too bright at the end, but we have ways of dirtying things. Much easier to dirty stuff after you've done it than it is to fade stuff, if that makes any sense. Oh, hey, what's up, Turner? Welcome to the feed. What are you painting tonight, man? What are you up to, sir? Tonight we're painting some Malifaux. So, you can see the Griff Charger Grays going down. And I was telling the guys today, like, this color is not terribly popular, but I think it should be, because it gets a lot of, it gets you into a lot of that like dull blue gray that, you know, for normal clothing like denim and that kind of stuff, really kind of gets you anything from like modern or even like old-timey like this. But you can see it's totally the wrong color right now. Sounds like Andrew's having some problems with the Discord chat, and I don't know what to do about that, Andrew. I'm not sure why it is super choppy. We'll have to figure that out in a minute here. But I want to get this color down, because this is an instance where we're going to use two different contrast paints to get one type of effect, right? So Cletus here. I hated this miniature when I first built him, and then, you know, his little derpy hair and he's got a little grin. It's very hard to see on camera here. Actually, it looks kind of evil on camera for some reason. It's like his pupils don't show up here on stream, but he's not evil. He's Cletus. He's okay. You're okay, Cletus. So let's just get going. And then for this Griffcharger Gray is actually going to serve as the base coat for a couple other miniatures in this group, or their clothing anyways. What we're working on is mostly clothing tonight, because as you can see, I did the skin and the faces already, which is kind of a session unto its own. You know, if you guys want to focus in on that topic, that's a separate topic. It's a more tedious job overall to do the faces and skin, even with I'm going to say especially with contrast paints, because it's you kind of have to learn how to use the contrast paint flesh tones. They're odd. When you first use them, you look like, if you feel like you haven't done anything significant, and then you got to let them dry. And honestly, the way you learn to manipulate contrast paints is super important when it comes to skin tones. Super important. You can't just, I don't agree with the whole thing of like you just slop the color on there. That's not going to work with the skin tones. In fact, you can see here, I kind of slopped the color on the arm there, and that's not quite working. I'm actually going to have to touch him up, and I'll show you how I do that. This guy here. Painting up Brewers Guild with the GW contrast paints. Oh, cool. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I've tried contrast paints on everything I've painted so far. Contrast paints came out while I was painting the Mythic Batman board game, and I painted the back half of that set with contrast paints. So anything other than, I think, like the original heroes were contrast paints. And I think for the most part they turned out pretty well. But that's also kind of the set where I was learning how to actually work this stuff. And it's so weird, right? They sell contrast paints on this idea like, oh, it's just easy, you just put one thick coat down and, you know, life is done. But that is not true. There is a learning curve with contrast paints. Do you still use washes with contrast? I don't. There's no reason. You can, yeah, like Scott's saying, you can do it, but if the contrast paints are working the way they're designed to work, you should not need a wash. Now you may need a highlight. That's going to be pretty normal to need a highlight for a contrast paint, but you're probably not going to need a wash. If you do want to wash a contrast paint, you're better off just applying a second coat of contrast paint, frankly. Okay, so Vanessa is kind of this color all over. So we're going to paint the main body of her cloak this color. So she's going to look like, you can see it coming in there. And these have all been zenithal primed. So that's why you'll see the blending on the bottom. You know, you'll see how it just kind of naturally darkens towards the bottom. The other thing that I point out with people about using contrast paints is always start towards the top of the model and just work the color down, right? So I'm going to start on the top of this arm here, and I'm going to work this color as far down as it will comfortably go. And when you're starting to run out of paint, just go back into the well. Do the same thing, start at the top again. And you want to push everything down, right? Because you don't want to have stuff pooling. See how that's pooling right there? I don't want that to pool. So I'm going to just, while it's still wet, that's the key. While it's still wet, you can push it down further. If it's too much, brush it off. Like brush it off onto your rag. Yeah, one thick coat is bogus. I've seen people paint that way, and that works for certain contrast paints. It doesn't work for all contrast paints. In fact, my experience has been it doesn't work for most of the contrast paints. It will work for certain things like Blood Red, Blood Angels Red. It will work for that. If you just did one thick coat and left it, it'll work for if you're actually trying to get a nice tone out of the black. It will work for that. But it's not going to do the best job. It's not going to do the best job highlighting and shading. And here, I can hear my little boys. They're causing problems for mom. Oh, mom, you're such a champ. Anyway, so this is most of her color. And I may tone this, like I may tint that another color. We'll see. One thing is, another thing with contrast paints is just let the stuff dry. Like give it time to do what it's gonna do. Okay, so for Ronin, ooh, why does she have a green nose? Thin layer contrast can really give you some highlights if you go back, second coat. Yep, I've had a lot of trouble using the brush to get it off when it's too thick. Yes, you can use a paper towel. You know, another trick to that, if it's pooling too hard, is you can actually use the contrast medium. Like if it's starting to set up, you can use the contrast medium, brush that on, and that will also help remove some of the like contrast paint. It at the very least it will help kind of like fade out that color a little bit. Okay. I don't know if I should move on to other. I don't think I'm going to move on to the Ronin yet. We're going to focus in on the Prospectors. But since that Drift Charger Gray was out, we'll leave it there. It's also good, nice to have white handy, because white or like or off-white specifically is what you want to have handy. Because like for example, this right here, she has like a green nose. I think I might have like accidentally painted something else there that shouldn't be there. So, and her eyes on the bottom, the shape is a little too dark, right? So it's too goth in her makeup. Too goth, my friends. She still looks a bit goth. The little guy dropped like a stone. You're about 2 sentences, Danny Dragon Breath. Oh man, my kids are not like that. My kids they're night owls. Mom is a night owl, or she was. Yes, no, she's a night owl. Dad's a night owl too, but he's also a tool. Dad's a night owl too, but I also get up super early. So I just don't sleep. That's my secret. You guys want to know, like, how do you paint somebody miniatures? I just don't sleep. That's all it is. That's all it is. Okay, so actually, I'm not even gonna do that. I had a little white going here. I'm gonna thin that out a little bit. Just feather it out a little bit with the brush. Now, if you're using Dark Oath Flesh for painting flesh and you want to fix it with color, this is what I recommend you do. Is you fix it with Fair Shadow from Reaper. It's a really nice it's actually blends pretty nicely. And like, for example, if you look here at little Vanessa's face, her face is so tiny and the crevices are so deep that when I first painted her face with Dark Oath Flesh, the whole thing looked like bright orange, right? Kind of like here on the side of Cletus's face. See that? This mold didn't fit so well, so some of the contrast paints kind of slid in there, right? So if you do Fair Shadow, you can feather a little bit of Fair Shadow in to help remove it. And you have to go really light, but you can start to take that out. And so in the case of Vanessa, that's what I did. Just a little Fair Shadow and go super, super light, and you can clean up stuff like that. Like, we understand Cletus doesn't wash behind his ears. He may not have had a shower in several decades, but you know, he's gonna look pretty cool. She could be goth. I know. Well, actually, I mean, the Ronin could be goth. Why not? They could be goth. We don't know them or their lives. They could totally be goth. Like this guy here. See how the contrast paint sat? There's too much of it sat down there. Again, this is a super light brush of Fair Shadow. And it cleans up pretty well. If you've got too many shadows in your skin tone, which a lot of you will get that, especially the first couple of times you start using contrast paints, you're just gonna get a lot of this like micro pooling and that kind of stuff happen. So find a flesh tone that's gonna work. I really like Fair Shadow. It just blends super nice. Yeah. Fair Shadow is just a nice. Now Fair Shadow for Dark Oath Flesh, for Guilliman Flesh, you will want to use a different tone, almost a rosier tone, because Guilliman Flesh has more red in it. So you can use Deep Skin Tone from Vallejo. I'm not sure. I don't recall quite what the color was for Reaper, but that's another trick, right? Oh man, like look how he lost definition on this side. Big Jake here. See how he has like no definition there, but he's got like great definition here. So this is a little difficult, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a little bit of Dark Oath Flesh, but I need to thin it because I'm not trying to retone. I'm just trying to get some of it into the crevices there for definition, right? Because the dude is pretty ripped, man. I don't know if he's big, they call him Big Jake. He's more like Ripped Jake. There's a lot of dudes in this game bigger than Big Jake. Like if you look at Johan, Mancharoha, those are the big dudes. Like Big Jake, you alright, man, but like look. Homie right here is pretty big next to Big Jake. And that's just a prospector. Like the prospectors are pretty big next to Big Jake. Are you really that big, Jake? You alright. You alright. I don't know. Maybe he's not. Whatever. Okay. These are almost dry. So now we can move on to the next part of toning this. And so what I'm going to do is we're going to take some Talisar Blue and we're going to thin the Talisar Blue again because I want to tone. I don't want the Talisar Blue to totally overpower the Griffcharger Gray. I want the Griffcharger Gray to kind of sit there and really, it's going to dull that Talisar Blue. Because Talisar Blue is the right color, but it's the wrong chroma. In other words, it's the wrong intensity. So I'm going to use a little bit of this, and I'm going to add a little bit of contrast medium to it, like 1 for 1. And that should get us like a faded denim color with the Griff Charger gray kind of helping to dull that whole thing out. Okay? You can see I already have a thumbs down. Somebody mad? Why is somebody mad? Oh, man. The trolls. Okay, so are they mad about the last Guild Ball game? I don't know, man. Alright, so okay, so same idea here. Start high. And we're just gonna push this down. And you can see how this is lighter than how Talisar Blue normally looks. Actually, it looks super bright on your screen. But on my screen, it does look like more like faded denim, like a faded denim work jean. Oh man. Okay. But yeah. I don't know what this towel thing does here. We'll fix that too. Sometimes I'll like ask for a thumbs down, because I'll put out a really unpopular opinion and say, look, thumbs down if you don't like what I'm saying. Go ahead. Go ahead, man. The thumb, because I can sometimes like really enjoy a thumb. Ooh, gosh, I messed up. Here's another issue with contrast paints, is you will hit adjacent areas, and you will need to know how to fix stuff like that, right? I'm gonna try to get this removed here. There we go. All right. So we'll do that. We'll go with this guy. But I'm glad everybody's up late painting. Why not? Because why not? Sunday night, most of us have to get up early for work tomorrow, including myself. But I want to get some headway going on this commission, because this is fun. These are Andrew's Vicks, so these should be fun to face across the table. It's another beat stick crew for Andrew here, who got to play some Laser J today. That thing is like dealing with those like heavy beat stick crews, right? That's like staring at the gorilla across the table, and you're like, man, I'm gonna have to deal with that. Like for the next 5 turns, I gotta figure out how to contain it. I don't, thinking that you can somehow one round her, probably not gonna happen. Not when he's gonna start with a ton of soul stones, that kind of thing. All right, so yeah, so now we've got faded denim, but it's not dirty. We'll dirty this up a little bit later on. It's not bad, it's just it doesn't look dirty. They're like her. And let's go with Cletus here. Gotta love Cletus. He does remind me of Earl. This could be Earl's like failed cousin or something. I don't know. So if you're just joining the stream, welcome to Play It Painted Live. Let us know what you're painting and what you should be painting. Tonight we are painting up some Viktorias stuff. But I'm starting with prospectors because even though they're not part of the main crew box, we'll get to it. And see, I messed up a little bit there over the legs, but we're cool. If you guys have any questions on painting or Malifaux or Guild Ball, or you came to issue threats, all these are all valid things. You know, go ahead and leave those in the comments. Also today I worked on my Malifaux game that I recorded late in the week with Sean. So it's mostly done. There's still some like editing stuff I need to do, but yeah, it is mostly done. Okay, let's go ahead and let's start painting in the wood. There's a couple routes of doing this, but I think what I'm going to do here is we're going to take a little snakebite leather and actually, no, same thing. We got to go skeleton horde again because these are all going to be kind of older, like worn wood, right? So this snakebite leather, I'm sorry, this skeleton gray, it's the right tone, but you can see one thing it's not doing is it's not hitting the grain of the wood deep enough, right? It's basically just matching his shirt. We'll fix that. Look at him go. This guy. He's, you know, he's a prospector. He lives a rough life. Right? I think Cletus is my favorite, man. Cletus is great. I think you really, most of the time in lists like these, you bring one, you only need one prospector, and I think it's going to be Cletus. I don't know. I mean, it's up to Andrew to decide, but like this guy should be on the board. When you say prospector, this is what I'm thinking most of the time. The dude that looks like that, right? The face on this one is just so odd, right? It's almost like this thing's almost like a Picasso painting with the face there. It also has this one also has a little cork pipe there coming out of the mouth. What is going on with the face? What is going on there? We gotta like clean this up. Hold on, folks. What happened to you? You just look. You look a little beat up, my friend. There we go. Okay, we're back to goth face. Got a little goth face going on. It's just such a strange face in general. We'll see. I don't know. This one here may see a couple starts as well. Just because I just don't understand this sculpt at all. Like, what is going on with this one? Alright. So a little bit there. So really all I want is like a liner. Right? I just want to hit the grain of the wood, but I don't want it to be much darker than it already is. Because if you want to know the truth, I'm kind of saving the color for the leather. I want to use snakebite leather for leather on this model and probably the hat. But I want to also have that wood grain covered. Okay, so I'm going to use. Oh, that's the wrong one. Okay. So I have my own little ink glaze that I make, and this is made out of Vallejo sepia ink, and I mix that with a little glaze medium, and then you can also mix it with a little airbrush thinner. Okay, it's going to make it super thin, and it's going to do is hit that wood grain really hard and leave the tone about the same. Okay, I want that that skeleton horde to dry first. So what I'm going to do in the meantime is we're going to paint all of this stuff snakebite leather. All right. Hey, what's up, Abraham Cons? Yeah, I recently painted Prospectors, and I didn't paint the one with the shovel. I figured you probably wouldn't use more than 2. Oh, it's just that's got to be one of the strangest faces I've seen on a weird miniature. And that's saying a lot, man. Those of you that are familiar with the weird miniature range, and you guys know I've painted the majority of this range at this point, right? That's just odd. It's just odd. Well, he's got to have we're going to have a little kerchief there for him. Oh, the bedroll, we'll leave that to be Skeleton Horde. It can match his dirty shirt. It's fine. Now, there are some people that will want to go through and paint every last detail of this guy's gear, different colors. Kudos to you, but man, I got stuff to do, guys. I got kids to help get to bed, and I got work in the morning. There's just gonna be a lot of leather. It's gonna be a lot of leather, and oh gosh, yeah, I know. Not all leather tans are the same. I get it, but like I said, like we gotta. I'm going to carry on living my life. And people, if you want to judge me for using one color leather across the miniature, go ahead and hit that thumbs down button, just like Homie did earlier. Just like Homie did earlier. How dare he use all the same leather. Alright, so... Whoa. Yeah, actually, this is, the overalls here kind of fold in. So that part of his shirt, that part of the overall is supposed to be shirt, not overall. You know how you can fix that? You just paint it white and paint it Skeleton Horde again. Let's go ahead and do that since we're talking about how to fix stuff. Right. Got a little bit over there. Just blend that out. See how it just kind of thins out? That's fine. Because it's going to be Skeleton Horde, you can thin that out like that. No one's going to notice. It's not a big deal. Alright. I also keep bone color on my desk here when I'm painting with contrast paints. As another way of fixing stuff, but I'm just gonna repaint this white right here, because this is gonna be part of his shirt. Okay, so I'm gonna paint that white, and we'll hit that with Skeleton Horde in a little bit. We're also gonna paint, I guess the boots should be black. We'll do the boots black. All right. Man, so a lot of cool videos coming up on the channel. Like I said, I'm editing a 25 Soulstone game that I played with Sean, which is cool. It has some breaks where you can kind of hear stuff that happens in the store, just to add flavor, right? Just to add a little bit of flavor to the report. Then the Guild Ball match report with Kickoff Masons versus Aaron's Union. That went up earlier this morning. We've got the Malifaux games with Yvonne that went up this weekend. And that series is going super well. The only part that is left to upload with that is the post-game interview, which is, in my opinion, it's the best part of that whole series. Cletus gets black boots. Cletus has worked hard. He gets nice black boots, but I don't know why his boots are, why they're so clean. But you know, he has a way of keeping them clean after all these years. Maybe I'm assuming he just ripped them off of somebody who has recently died, right? My guess is the Viktorias run around and these prospectors will help them dig up soul stones and stuff in exchange to wearing those nice clean black guild guard boots, right? These are like the boots that the guild guard would wear with their nice red coated outfits. But Cletus got himself a nice pair of boots. He takes pride in his boots. They all, it was a good day that day, so all three of the prospectors got really, really nice boots. The Ronin, my plan for the Ronin, and Andrew, if you don't like this plan, let me know. But my plan for the Ronin is for them to be wearing more like black dusters and that kind of stuff. So the overall theme for the Viktorias is going to be a little bit, punk rock is what you said to me. And I was like, okay. So I was thinking like dark tones on the clothes, maybe bright tones on the hair, give them more of a punk rock feel. And let the garb itself is Western themed. Murder. Yes. I mean, that seems logical to me, that Viktoria's found enough people of the same shoe size to murder to outfit their prospectors. The prospectors, they purposely find towns and they find other they find opportunities where the victims, the would-be victims of the Viktorias are roughly the same shoe size as their own. Okay. So I'm going to keep painting this guy. We're just going to paint this guy to finish, and then, well, no. I think we need to just keep bouncing colors to make these all work there. I need a second coat of white over here because still a bit of blue showing through, and I'll fix that. Okay. Oh, I totally forgot. We were in black, so he should have black hair and I think this guy had a beard. It looks like he kind of has a beard. I think he has a beard. He's getting one. How about that? He's just getting a beard. It's a very, very clean beard. But yeah, he's getting a beard like Amish style. So no mustache, just the beard. Actually, you can tell on this side of the face that this dude does actually have a full beard. He could be, oh gosh, sorry guys. The handle of my brush is hitting the camera here because we're in so tight. This is Prospector Ezekiel, you know, with Prospector Jeremiah. I don't have a name for the third one. I don't know what we call the third one, but there we go. Hey, what's up, Canvas? Why do we do these while still at work? Cause, man, I know you're gonna tune in to hear the my soft, sultry tones, man. I know you. What up, man? What are you painting? Well, Canvas, you're at work, dude. Why? Canvas is doing like Australian work things. So I don't know what that means. Like, what do the Australians do when they punch in for a job, right? Is it kangaroo boxing? Do they do that? Is it, you know... Is it looking for Paul Hogan? I don't know what the Australian... Like, what... The only Australian businesses I know are, like, ones that deal with, like, weathering services out in the desert and Knights of Dice. That's it. That's all I know about the Australian commerce. Played your first game of Warmahordes in over 2 years. How did that go for you, sir? Yeah, I think I saw you posted a pic of that. It's just good to be gaming again, man. I think you need to put up some videos, sir. And I do understand that may get you banned from the platform. But you should. Look at that. Brother Ezekiel has a red bandana. Because he's a boss. Because you want to know why? Because Andrew has no reason to pick this prospector over the other two. Sadly, Ezekiel is the most boring of the prospectors. But now he has a red scarf, right? And now, you know, Andrew can put him on the board, and the person across from Andrew can say, oh, I'm shooting at the one in the red scarf. I need him to die immediately. That's why you do stuff like that, right? Maybe that's like why this particular model was chosen for Vendetta. Like that, maybe it was his wife's favorite scarf or something, and she died, and he goes on waiting to kill he wants to kill like a guild guard or something. All right. Yeah, because these other... Well, no. This one here will also have the red scarf. Let's just do that. This one will also have the red scarf. This is by far like one of the weirdest shaped human faces I think I've ever seen on a miniature. I mean, that can't be on purpose, right? Why is it so odd? Does Cletus have a red scarf? No. Cletus is not part of the Red Scarf Rebellion. Let's do the snakebite leather. Also, I need to figure out what color. Actually, the hair. Actually, should the hair be? I think this one is going to be a ginger, because it's strange. It's just a strange looking miniature. So we're going for ginger hair, okay? You can make ginger hair real easy if you just do, it's essentially a 3-to-1 mix, cyan yellow to blood red. And you get ginger, you get the nice ginger hair out of this. That ginger hair. Right? So 3 drops cyan yellow to 1 drop of blood red. Obviously you could just use the orange contrast paint, but I didn't bother to buy the orange contrast paint because I know I can make it. And I can make any kind of orange I want. Including this like weird carrot top prospector. Well, I think the orange hair makes it look even weirder. I'm gonna do at least one of the Ronin will be a ginger like this. I'm thinking it may be that goth one that's kneeling down. You've been enjoying the M3E content and happy you found my channel. Have to make it out more of these painting streams. All right, have a good night, Abraham. Thanks for tuning in, man. Yeah, stay tuned. I've got another 25 Soulstone battle report coming up, and then we got the post-game interview with Yvonne. Whoa. I just left a little too much ginger on the face there. Let's clean that up. Whoa. Really a lot of ginger on that face. There we go. Whoa, we have to take it off screen for a second. Really get in there and clean that up. Okay, cool. All right. And I need some skeleton horde on the bedroll. Another hint for contrast paints. Always try to go from lighter to darker, especially where you have, like in this case, you have a backpack and you've got a lot of colors that are going to intersect and blend. Better to start off with the lightest color, and then you can sometimes you can get away with painting the darker color over it. Now I say sometimes because you need to have some experience with these and kind of know which colors will do that and which colors won't do that. For example, you could do this with snakebite leather and weirdwood. You can't do it with basilicanum gray. Okay, if you're gonna paint something basilicanum gray, it needs to be white. It should not have any color underneath it. And in fact, you see how I got a little bit of skeleton horde there on the shovel? I'm gonna show you what happens when you do that, because I can get away with it. And Andrew's watching me on feed, so if he doesn't like it, he can tell me, fix that. But it should be okay. It's just gonna look like a little bit of rust on the shovel. All right. Oh, I need to hit that right there. But yeah, I will say, contrast paints require some practice. They really do, to understand like how to apply. It's not one thick coat. I do not sell that for a second. You have to be used to like glazing, really. If you're used to glazing, contrast paints come very naturally. And I actually have tried the one thick coat thing. It never looked satisfactory to me. It never got to the point where I was pleased with that result. So this is the way I do it now. I prefer to do a thinner coat, move it around to taste, and then, if I do need it to be darker, I just go back and do another coat as opposed to one thick coat. It's just going to be better. And you can see here, I'm just going wet on wet snakebite leather over skeleton horde, and it's not that big a deal. It just happens. You can just do it. Okay. Ooh. Okay. Any other questions, comments, or threats while we are still rolling? Good. So I could go through and paint a white highlight on these shirts to further differentiate the shirt from the rest of the model. You don't have to do it when it's just like a rank and file thing, but I would say, you know, if these were characters and I wanted the white shirts to pop out a little bit more, I wanted if I wanted to get a little more differentiation in the model, I would do that. All right. Time for Cletus. Warhammer Hordes is super hard to do well until you know all the gotchas, even if you've played before. There's so many new things. Well, that's cool. I knew Andrew was a big Warhammer Hordes guy, so I don't have a formal opinion on Mark III. I've heard, truth be told, I've heard mostly bad things about it. So I don't know what to make of that. I just, in general, I try to stay away from like larger scale games like that. Oh, thanks, Scott. Okay, let's do a little brown here, a little snakebite leather. These prospectors they're pretty cool. They're cool. They're looking a little too clean right now, but it's okay. You know, the goal here is to get them looking nice for the tabletop, right? And then try to kill them when they're put on the when Andrew inevitably puts them on the board. He doesn't mind if we try to kill the prospectors. That means we're not attacking the Vix. But sometimes you gotta just kill a prospector. I don't know. Okay, now let's do the handles like I said I would. No, page 5. Okay, so like I was saying, sepia ink glaze. So sepia ink glaze medium, and now I'm gonna punch up that. I'm gonna reduce the surface tension even lower by adding a little bit of airbrush thinner, right? This is the trick to making liners. For those of you who want to make like a black liner or a brown liner, this is how I do it. Okay, so now this being super thin, I treat this like a wash, and you can see how it got in there? Here's the top half of the handle, here's the bottom half. See how it got in there, and it did not look like too dark. It just got into the grain of the wood without like overly staining that wood. If I'd gone over with snakebite leather, it would just be completely dark and you wouldn't be able to see that little bit of grain detail, right? In fact, I could thin this further, but again, all I'm trying to do is get that grain to pop a little bit. And it's a stupid little detail, but stupid little details can pay off when you're doing that. All right. What about you? What about you? Are you in this? kind of fade that out a little bit. Okay. All right. And now we're almost done with these. We're going to go do Basilicanum Gray. And then you guys can tell me if you want me to start on the Viktorias proper, or do you want me to paint Ronin. So Basilicanum Gray is a nice quick way to get at like non-metallic metal, like steel. You can see what it did there. You just leave it. You go like that. It's like super easy. You could do this for weapons. You could do it for everything. Now, remember what I was saying earlier? Basilicanum Gray is not one of those instances where you can go from light to dark and expect to completely cover the previous color. You can see there's still a little bit of that brown there that I hit before. And you can use that to your advantage, right? You can use Basilicanum Gray to dirty up stuff if you want. So one thing we could do here, if I want, is I can take this Basilicanum Gray, thin it a little bit, and run it over the jeans, and it will give the jeans a dingier look to them. I don't think I'm going to do it on these, just because, I don't know, they just look kind of cool. Just a little cartoony like this. In my opinion, I don't know. I think they look kind of cool like this, so I'm just going to leave these like this. Okay. Gonna get the pickaxe there. Now, I could also do Basilicanum Gray on Cletus's beard, and I probably will. His beard and his cool little Ed Grimley haircut. Don't you love old dudes that have the little? It's like little baby hair. If you've ever seen, like, you know, the 1-year-old babies that have those, that have that little Grimley. Like, my kid is 2, and he's not doing much in the hair department, but he's got that little Grimley. It's great. It's great, and we love it. Okay, so I'm just going to use that Basilicanum Gray here on the beard. And if it's too dark, I can always go back and just highlight it. But I think that looks pretty good. And Cletus. Good job, Cletus. Look at him go. Okay. Cool. So, in the middle of that battle report, Andrew, I have audio of you selling the Yoku crew to Yvonne, and then her coming over and asking me to play Yoku, which is pretty funny. Clearly, she just wants something to troll me with. And she saw the expression on my face, and she knew that I was like, what the hell? Obviously, I blame you for that, but she would have figured it out sooner or later. Okay. All right, so we give that, we're going to let that dry for a second. Man, I got to figure out what color I want this, the bricks down here to be. I'm not entirely sure what I want them to be. Almost like a red-brown, I think. Like a brick red-brown. But I don't want the red to be overpowering. Gangster Gaseous and Chimsel. Yeah, I don't want that. I don't know. It could either be gray and a little bit of sand soil back here, or it could be brown, in my opinion. Gray is very easy to do. Brown's a little bit harder. You know, we're doing these pretty simply, so maybe we just do gray. I don't know. Let's compromise. Let's do a little bit of skeleton horde on these. Again, you can see how how versatile these are. Little skeleton horde on the bottom here. And then I'm going to use that basilicanum gray to give the floor a little depth. I'll just do the entire thing because you get sand. You can see, so it's almost like, you know, yeah, they are kind of in a half urban environment. Maybe they're just about to head out to go to the mines. Okay. These are so easy to do with the contrast paints. You just, ooh, that's a lot of contrast paint. I may have to wick up some of that. Because I want that to dry. So again, it's like the key is knowing how much working time you have after you put the paint down. Like how you don't want, the last thing you want to do is you do not want to brush into this stuff while it's sticky, while it's setting up, because it gets the paint gets really sticky. And you'll just end up pulling chunks out of it. Hey, what up, Nelson? What up, man? Alright. So, another question that was asked is, do you highlight contrast paints? And the answer is yes, you do. In this case, these are just rank and file things, so I'm not going to do much highlighting. The only highlighting I'm going to do is I'm going to take some white, and I'm going to do a teeny little edge highlight on the steel stuff, because that's really really where you're trying to convince somebody of a specific effect, right? You're trying to convince them, hey, this is a metallic object. And if it's a metallic object, the deeper you really want to force contrast as hard as possible. What I mean is, the highlight on a metallic object should be all the way white. The shadow should be all the way black. That's what you're trying to do. You doing any painting tonight, Nelson? I'm gonna look chip out of the shovel there. And then here on the pickaxe, again, just picking that hard edge off. That's all we're doing, folks. Picking that hard edge off, and I can even kind of fade the edge, the tips of the pickaxe to be white. That's all. Right? Just little, tiny little things. That's all we're doing. All right. You know Cletus. Cletus is even gonna get he'll get a little white up here on top. Man, we love Cletus. Who else here loves Cletus? I love Cletus. He's so cool, man. Cletus may be my favorite sculpt in this whole set. Look at him go. He's just so wise. Look at him. He's got stories to share with you. He really does. Either that or he's completely, at this point, you know, the mental decay has set in, and I messed up there on his axe. Hold on. The mental decay has set in for poor Cletus here. So, your dog chewed off my airbrush pump. Oh gosh, you're watching New Godzilla. Nice. I was playing. My son invented a game tonight. It was he took all his kaiju toys, all of his dragon toys, and all of his dinosaur toys, and it was I had to pick a faction. That's his favorite thing now. Daddy, pick a faction. And so so I get to pick between kaiju, dinosaurs, and dragons. And I chose kaiju because of course I'm going to choose kaiju. And he chose dinosaurs. And I really I wasn't clear on the rest of the rules of the game, so I don't know if we were playing that right. I think I can only guess that we were. So I had kaiju, and I had like a ton of different Godzilla models. I had a King Ghidorah. I had two bad guys from Ultraman, which were awesome, right? I had Bemelar and I had Dino Tank. And if you want to Google a picture of Dino Tank is freaking hilarious, right? It's literally just like a dinosaur sitting, just like a fat dinosaur body with no legs, and the bottom half of it is a tank, but it looks like it's just glued to the tank. It doesn't, like, there's no smooth transition for Dino Tank's top half of his body to the bottom half of his body. And so Dino Tank and Bemelar were my favorite. Bemelar just looks kind of like a generic Godzilla, like almost like a Godzilla ripoff. But those are like my favorite kaiju that my son owns, and he loves those characters as well. So we were playing that, and then and I was teaching the 2-year-old the names of some of the stuff, and he was getting all the names down. The rules are he wins, pretty much. Although it was feeling more like a co-op game. I just didn't know what the rules were. There was he had like a skeletal dinosaur that was like meaner than all the other dinosaurs, and we had to like band together to get rid of the skeletal dinosaur. And I forget. He had this other dinosaur that was like a raptor that would hug people and kill them that way. He was like a lonely raptor. He was like the sad, lonely raptor who just, needed love, but was killing all these characters by hugging them. And then that raptor died due to an accident of like one of the larger Godzilla models like stepped on him on accident and killed him. It was all very tragic. So, okay. So you can see that's about it, man. Like this is as simple as you can get with contrast paint. But it's they look good. It's a good job. One final thing I need to do now that the basing is dry. Again, we go back to Basilicanum Gray. I'm going to sell a lot of Basilicanum Gray. It is so underrated as a color. It gets you non-metallic metals. It's a cheap liner. You can see how it kind of dingies up this whole thing. Like I said, I could dingy up the jeans if I want. And you can see it lets the original tone shine through. So it's pretty nice. And you get your basing scheme done like that, and it's just stupidly easy. Stupidly easy, right? Just done. Bam. Bam, he says. I'm going to paint the outside of the bases, the rims there. We're going to paint those black right now. Just so you can see. Took all your son's intellectual ideas and properties. Gonna give me the third Godzilla. He has great ideas for stuff, I gotta say. He blew my mind the other day. He just cracked the code wide open, right? We were watching Dora on like Nick Jr. or whatever, and he pointed out to me, he said, "Dad, this whole show is based on a lie." And I said, what do you mean, son? And he says, well, if you listen, the map has the exact same voice as Swiper. So who's to believe that most of the antics of the show are the map leading Dora and Boots into areas where Swiper will rob them, because they're one and the same. He didn't say it as eloquently as I'm saying right now, but he did lay it out that way, that the whole thing was a scam for Dora and Boots to get robbed by Swiper. Oh, hey, what's up, Jose? And like, I have a hard. I didn't dispute it. I didn't dispute it at all. I was like, yes, that's probably 1,000% correct, son. Always question everything, my son. Question it all. Like, don't take it all for granted. Don't take for granted that the map is the good guy. The map is very well, like you said, the map is the same exact voice as Swiper. So why wouldn't they be the same person? And, you know, Dora's been on TV for like almost 20 years, man, and not once have you seen the map interact with Swiper. It makes sense to me. It makes total sense to me. My, one of our other, one of my buddies at work was here, and he heard the entire conspiracy theory laid out. And I was encouraging my son, like, yes, that's right, son, question everything. Hey, what's up, Lord Draconin? Welcome to the feed. And he's like, you're just going to let your kid believe that? I'm like, yeah, it's a theory he came up with on his own. Absolutely. If he wants to believe that and he can defend it, more importantly, absolutely he can do that. Now, he's going to go to school and tell the other kids at school this theory, and they're going to be upset and go home and cry to their parents, and their parents are going to get mad, and they're going to come back at me, and I'm going to be like, go ahead, see if you can win that argument. See if you can win an argument with a 5-year-old, because you're going to lose. Hint, you're going to lose. If you're going against my son and he's got sound reasoning behind why the map and Swiper are the same person, you're going to, yeah, just hang it up, dude. At that point, you lost an argument to a 5-year-old. That's what I'm saying. Oh, gosh. Yeah, this one is just odd. I don't know. I think Andrew may put this one on the board just to freak people out. It's just such a weird-looking model. Anyway, Lord Draconim, are you doing any painting right now? You got any projects? Right now we're just painting some outcasts. We haven't really done much to the actual Viktorias crew. You know, yeah, so I guess my options, I have 3 options at this point. I can either, now that these guys we're just going to wrap them up. Now that the prospectors are done, we can move on to Ronin, which is another set of 3 models. Or we could paint Vanessa, or we could start working on the Viktorias. Vanessa looks like something we could finish tonight, whereas the Viktorias and the Ronin may be a little bit tough. Well, who knows? I could paint Big Jake and Vanessa. That's the other option. Jose, are you working on anything, or are you just chilling? Organizing your painting room? Trying to finish your G.I. Joe and Wait. Oh yeah, you have G.I. Joe and Cobra minis. Oh my god. I don't recall if the Baroness miniature was good. I mean, these could probably go pretty quick. They could probably go pretty quick, man. They're not great. They're not the best sculpts. Here's the one that is a really good sculpt. She's got a little cigarette, but her hat, for whatever reason, it's like slid backwards, and it's making me really sad. I'm afraid if I try to pull the hat off, that I'll pull the head off. That's what I'm worried about. If I try to pull the hat off to fix it, it's gonna pull the head off. Let me just test it a little bit. If I can wrench this hat off. Oh gosh, no you can't. Plastic cement, dude. Yikes. Yikes, yikes. It's a cool mini, but rip, man, it just didn't. Yikes. Okay. No, dude, that was me hurting Nelson's love of Batman. Okay. Baroness miniature I thought was decent. Could have been... Yeah. If you're going to do the Baroness miniature, obviously, the obvious choice is get the comic Talia from the Night Miniatures Batman stuff. Which is... It's just basically Baroness without the glasses. It's a pretty good likeness. Alright. So so the idea here for the Ronin is, oh gosh, forget the Ronin. Hold on. No, yeah. I always work from, whenever I do a project, I always go from least favorite sculpts to most favorite sculpts. So let's do the Ronin, fine. This one here, we're going to give her, or she's actually going to have black hair. Because she's got an issue. Her forehead is slid all the way forward. Oh. She had such a promising future. She's smoking a cigarette. It's really cool. And like I said, most of this leather and stuff is going to be black. Like most of the Ronin colors are going to be black. I have to come up with the complement color. Is the complement color going to be like a brown or a gold color? Should be a fairly high contrasting color. It could be that Griffcharger gray again, which I really like. So it could be like Griffcharger gray shirts, black chaps, black coat, and a black hat. That could be a thing. And then we could just do a little denim here, there. Oh, she has exposed midriff. I'm gonna paint that. We gotta have a little bit of skin there. All right. So you can see it's pretty gray on this side of the zenithal. So this is going to look a little bit gray. But it should be fine, right? You just gotta kind of trust that contrast is going to dry properly, which it will. You just gotta trust it. Okay. Right, so I'm thinking we could either do Griffcharger gray or we could do ultramarine blue. Hell, we could even go like dark gray. I mean dark green and black. That might look kind of hot, right? Like Dark Angel's green. Well, Dark Angel's green may be a little too glossy as a shirt. Turquoise I could do also. Like we could do turquoise. That might be kind of dope. Hold on. Yeah, we might be able to do like tear down turquoise. And just keep the miniatures really dark. Could do that. I'm trying to think here. Not a bad thought. Tear down turquoise. Yeah, I think we're gonna go for it. I think this is a great plan. I'm excited to be a part of it. Right? Let's do it. So that's gonna be turquoise. Right, so we'll do, oh yeah, this is gonna be hot. Wait, that's the jacket, isn't it? Shoot. Stop! Ah! Stop! Okay, I'm just gonna thin it out because the black will cover it over it. Yep, because that's a jacket. This is all the duster. This is all a duster that she's wearing. right? So that's a duster. And then I guess, no, it's all one coat, isn't it? This is all one coat. So I guess this whole thing is black up there. That's black. We just do the top, not the Talia, not the movie Talia. That's a terrible miniature, by the way. Movie Talia for night models is a terrible miniature. Not that one. I'm talking about the comic Talia, which is a fantastic miniature. One of the better minis in the night models range. Okay, so we're going to give them jeans. They're going to get the same jean treatment that the prospectors had, but they're going to have black jackets and black outfit stuff. This one here is going to have, she'll have that turquoise, she'll have a turquoise blouse underneath this. You can see that blade there got messed up just trying to take it off the sprue. Not sure what happened there. There's a gap there. Fairly upsetting. We're still arguing about which Talia you want for the Baroness. I just want like a really well done Baroness miniature. I want a Baroness miniature, a Destro miniature, Major Blood, obviously Snake Eyes, Storm Shadow. There's just so many cool. If we're gonna get into like G.I. Joe, that kind of stuff, this one here is gonna have a denim skirt. So she'll have a denim skirt, and then her corset will be black. And all the hats will be black, right? Ooh, that's too much. Yeah, not my favorite miniatures, unfortunately. Ooh, so much pooling. So much pooling. Stop that. There we go. Cool. Alright, let that dry. You know who's got to feel pretty good about herself right now with those models? Let me show you guys a hint. You know who's gonna feel pretty good about herself? That's right. That's right. We thought she was out of the, we thought she was out for it, but no, she's good. She's looking pretty good. Feeling pretty good about herself right now, standing next to these Ronin miniatures. Let's just while we've got her, let's paint some of her legs in. There you go. Here, yeah. Guess what? We like you. You're gonna make the squad. I'm sorry about everything I said about you earlier, on that earlier stream. You're looking good. You're very fun. We like you. Okay. Okay. Right? Everyone, we're all good with her now. She's good. We're all good. I still don't understand why she's got a t-shirt on. Like, with her little showgirl blouse. I don't get it. I have questions for her, but we're gonna move on. Okay. Then commit utmost heresy by painting Red Hood as Cobra Commander and Nightwing as Zartan. I don't know if that's really making Nelson upset or not. It's hard to say. I haven't really seen him react to that. I have my my Red Hooded Cobra Commander. Okay. Yeah, they're all right. I'll get used to these. These will be all right. These miniatures will be okay. Just telling myself that, guys. We're just telling myself. They're really simple. They're not terrible though. All right. You're ready to move on with a little bit of blue here. My thinned down Talisar blue. Just gonna get us that denim look again. Let's do the same here. I don't know if I still have that miniature or if I just gave it away. I forget. Or did I auction it off for extra life? I don't remember. There we go. I appreciate what they were going for with the pose here, but the way they split the models was just so rough. Trying to put that all together and stand it up so that, you know, all the contact points would hit the bottom of the base, or the top of the base, like the dagger ends and that kind of stuff. It's not going to happen, man. Look at that. This one here, she's denim deluxe, man. She's rocking a denim, just a denim dress. When you see this much denim on a person, I think of the Canadian joke. This is a Canadian tuxedo. I don't know why. I don't even know what the hell, if that makes sense, but I always laughed when I heard, oh yeah, Canadian tuxedo. Anyway, now let's hit it with, let's do some Pterodon turquoise. And so these two without the dusters are going to be wearing turquoise. Their blouses will be turquoise. I may even do so that they match with the Vickies. I think this may be the complementary. This may be the turquoise may be the secondary color for the Vicks as well. Just to keep, you know, kind of keep a strong theme of these two. Oop. Pterodon turquoise is another one of the like underrated contrast paints. Just a very good contrast paint. Like, you can see how nice it is to control, right? I can just put it exactly where I want it, and it covers real nice. It covers real nice. Look at her go. Look at her with her little sword like this. You'll see, you'll all see. Just threatening people with that sword. You don't know me, or you don't know my life. So it's like that, and then she's wearing a black corset, right? So it's like that. You don't know my life. Hey, what's up, Sean? This one here doesn't really have a blouse per se, so she's probably going to have no turquoise on her. And this one here will also be wearing turquoise. And she kind of has like a tube top. So she's going to have a black tube top. It's essentially just a little piece of leather armor. I'm just disappointed in these Ronin, if I'm being honest with you. They seemed kind of cool in concept, right? I thought they were cool in concept, but after I built them, I was somewhat disappointed. It's like, yeah, they're all right. I just think that you had an opportunity to make some much cooler miniatures than what they made. I'm not talking about like them having to be jumping around and all that. I don't need them to do that. They should just look a little more exciting than this. Even if they were standing straight up. Like if you looked at what's the one, the alt Taylor that I painted for you, Andrew? Miss something. Forgot her name. What's that alt Taylor? Miscreant? Miss something. If you look at that miniature is just standing still holding a giant hammer, and that's a great mini, right? That's an awesome miniature. These are just kind of They are alright. Alright. You know, the other option is I could do this duster like a really dark brown and just do, well, I don't know if I can do that now. Not with, yeah, Miss Deed. Miss Deed is an awesome sculpt, right? And she's basically just standing still. These could have been better, in my opinion. And the Vicks themselves could have also been better. I didn't really like what they did with the poses, and then most of all the faces, right? It looks okay. I don't know. It's all right. Like, rah, I get it. It's screaming and it's got this cool sort of energy to it, but and then this one, I got swords. Wah! Like, I guess that's okay. I don't know. It just doesn't. I guess, frankly, it just doesn't do anything for me. Okay, right? We said this goth is going to be redheaded, right? I think we all agreed on that earlier. Were the metal crew better? This is all completely subjective. I personally, if we're talking Vicks, my favorite Vic sculpts are the alt metal sculpts that have much more of a rockabilly vibe to them. Like, you know, Andrew wanted a punk rock vibe, and those sculpts would have done way better for that than these will. I like their original sculpts as well. They kind of had anime hair, which was kind of cool. They kind of had that like Goku hairstyle in their V1, and then their V2, they kind of have like that shaved head, like the sides of their heads were shaved, and they have like kind of like a mohawk vibe to them. And those were fairly cool. My favorite are still going to be the metal. And then for Ronin, the metal Ronin were good. The V2 Sucker Punch. Some people hated them. I thought they were pretty cool. I don't know. Some of those, yeah. Let's get some Brondu hair. Brondu hair. On this one, plus she's got like a gun belt. A bullet belt. So her hair is gonna be Brondu. Right? She's just your typical denim skirt wearing, you know. I guess she's kind of like a Dolores from Westworld. Gosh. Did anyone watch that show anymore? Did they? I don't think they had a season 3 yet. I watched the season 2 and I was like, meh. Brr. Season 1 was pretty great. I really like season 1. Season 2 is brr. Anyway. Okay, so yeah. A little bit of denim there. I don't like her denim dress. We'll dirty it. We'll dirty it and it'll look fine. Okay. So making some progress on these gals here. Ugh. What do you get there? Do you get a little more orange there? Sure. Okay. So making sure I'm not missing anything. Okay. And yeah, we're gonna do a lot of black. It's gonna be a lot of black, folks, because we're gonna give this whole crew a more like Andrew said, like a punk rock vibe. Nice. Did 3 models of contrast paint. Dope. Oh, shoot. We gotta do, everyone was wearing fingerless gloves. Points if you know that song, because that's a song reference. Everyone was wearing fingerless gloves. Pretty strange song. The next line after everyone was wearing fingerless gloves is, I saw a Spanish guy doing the Bartman. That should pretty much give it away if you have ever heard that song. Whoa. Oh, I'll show you guys something else too. Because we're painting, but we're also kind of messing around. Right? We're getting to that point where it's like, okay, we get it, Octave. You're just going to paint with contrast paints, you know, do these things. They're all going to be like cowboy things. Cowboy things. Contrast paints can be very frustrating when you're trying to do one of two things, when you're either trying to tint a color underneath it or you're trying to cover it entirely. Because contrast paints don't exactly listen to you. You have to figure out how to do it. Like you gotta train it how to cover some things and not other things. Like just let it tone other things. And you got to know which colors you can do that with and which ones you cannot do that with. Whoa. Everybody's wearing fingerless gloves. Whoa. Saw Spanish dude doing the Bartman. All right. Okay, let's do the black stuff on this lady here. And then I want to show you guys something. And this will either make you like the next video that's going up or hate the next video that's going up, depending on your point of view. Okay. There's that. As you can see, this one is a pretty simple paint job, and she's moving right along. I guess the handles to the daggers are going to be black instead of, a lot of times I just do them white or gold. But she's a Ronin. Like, a lot of her outfit should be pretty dark. That includes weapons. Right? So, we'll do that. Okay. Remember, you're going to want to be somewhat precise with your contrast paints. All right. Okay. You missed out on a bidding thing on Saturday at the Realm. Yeah. You know who won that? Was Chris. What's his name? Chris Valley won that. All right. Okay. Here. We're gonna preview some shit. Okay. We're gonna preview. Uh-oh. Oh, cool. Okay. Okay. Let's just take a quick little break here. But yeah, so here we can look at my dusty phone on screen. But here's me editing this last game with Sean, and where is that? Okay, so here's an example of distract happening during the game, and distract that ice gammon that's taken. So we have that in the video. We also have where'd it go? Okay, and then here you can listen to this next part too. I don't know how well the audio is coming in, but we're gonna check it out. Ready?
She's from the 10 so she leads like a geisha game. So it's selling her out.
No, trust me, the geisha game actually sounds really good. Trust me.
So, I want to play the geisha game. Who's that?
Yeah, Yoko.
Who's in the geisha game?
From 10 Thunder.
Chris plays.
Yeah.
And they have flower dresses?
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so anyways, that's okay. So anyways, that video is in editing right now. So that should be. I'm looking forward to that one. That should be pretty fun when that comes out. Anyway, yeah, let's get back to painting this stuff. But just taking a little break because that's cool stuff. You need more December acolytes. Wow. Alright. Anyway. Let's go ahead and do the handle on this flintlock. This isn't a flintlock. This is more like a sawed-off. I got my sawed-off. Okay. And for the handle of the sword, we'll do like skeleton horde again. Did grape jam make it? I don't think so. I think that happened like right as the turn ended. There's many kinds of jam. Strawberry, blueberry, grape. So stupid, but and then, like, we just thought that was super funny when that happened. All right. Okay, this one here is going to be the most. She's going to be way more goth than the other one there. The redhead is she's more like edgelord, and this one here is like the true goth, right? Because her forehead is slid back on her hat. Grab. There we go. Now this, as far as the contrast paints are concerned, this is the color that I think people are most inclined to lay on thick. And the reason why I think they're inclined to do that is because they're thinking black and they're instinctively wanting the entire thing to hide, but that's bad. Remember, you want the contrast paint is, whoa, just totally, whoops, hold on. No, don't panic. Here we go. Whew. That would have sucked to have to redo. But I think we're all right. Grab. Cool. All right. Yeah, the contrast paints they're supposed to show the shape and depth of the objects that you're painting. They're not supposed to just cover like the way you would get like out of chaos, just regular chaos black. All right. So kind of just let the paint do what it's gonna do. But I again, one thick coat, that's a lie. Don't do one thick coat. Start at the top of your object, paint towards the bottom of your object. If you want it darker, just do another thin coat. Like, you want to be able to control how that color is punching in. Yeah, this one here is very, especially with the cigarette. I want to see somebody get offended by that. Can't admire smoking, glorifying smoking. You meet your game. I'm sure somebody is going to be upset about it. Like, this is the Wild West. When is Malifaux making a Bruce Lee character? I don't know. I mean, Shen Long is the martial arts master in the game, but I don't know if they would do like a Bruce Lee type martial arts master. Is she not 100% glued down? Got a lot of give here. It's kind of scaring me. Yeah. Is she not? Why is she so springy? I love that. So yeah, with the Yoku thing there, I have I half-assedly left a comment like, yeah, you can send a Yoku crew over so that Ivan can troll me with it. And I think if dudes knew that they could send her that, I think they would. Because this is the internet. I think if she got on stream and asked, someone send me a Yoku crew, I think they would. I think they would send her a crew. Okay. I'm going to retouch the skin here. I'm not liking how that looked. Right? Got a little black. I got a little bit of black down in that area, and I didn't like how it looked. Nothing beats the flame we got for Relic Knights. I'm not sure what you're referring to, Andrew. The flame we got for Relic Knights? I do not know what you're referring to, sir. Okay. So, we're going to let that dry. We're just gonna keep painting this black in right here. All right. But yeah, these are going to start to, at least the rank and file stuff, you know, they'll paint up reasonably quick, and then we go back in, paint the, oh, someone flaming us for Sig. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's true. I mean, really, tobacco and cigarettes and that kind of thing. It was a big part of, you know, that era. Smoking cigars, smoking cigarettes. So sorry if it's depicted, because that's what. Like, that was the reality. Oh man, she's really leaning here. I may have to, I think what I'm going to do is we're going to let her dry for a bit, and then I'm going to pop her off the base and just put her back on. It's kind of a mixed blessing, because that's going to allow me to get back here on the other side of the cloak, on the inside of the cloak, and paint that black. Wow, she's just like all black. She's the most goth of the Ronin. And obviously the one with the denim skirt is the most Canadian of the Ronin. Brain explosions. Okay. All right. Let that dry for a sec. That was a lot of black that just went down. It looks cool. We're gonna let that. We're gonna let that kind of chill there for a minute, and we're gonna go here with our little Annie Oakley here. She will also have a black hat. The one thing is, yes, I may not like these sculpts individually, but, you know, it's a crew, so when you see them all down as a crew, probably look pretty dope, if you ask me. I'm wondering, again, with the Ronin being a minion 3, I'm wondering how many Ronin realistically you're going to put on the board. This one you might put 2 down. I think you put 1 down for sure, because they're pretty good models. But I don't know that, I don't see a scenario where you're putting 3 down. If this one could also decide she wants to be goth as well, and I can give her a black goth skirt. Yeah, the old metal Ronin with the little cowboy hats. There was the one that had like the dreads. She had like the dread hair, and then she also had goggles. And I forget what the third one was. I just remember the one that's sort of like half crouched, has her hands on the hilt of her samurai sword, and then the one who's holding the gun up, who has like the dreads. For sure though, this her skirt's gonna need to be darker. It just looks too denim right now. All right. Oops. You can see I tagged the underside of her arm, so we'll fix that too. That's just normal, man. You're painting with contrast paints. See that little nick there? Starting to think Tony Ironsides and the Union crew might be super easy to paint. I would think so. I think most of these crews are pretty easy to paint, if you want my honest opinion. But hey, I will continue to paint them for you. Boop, 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 boop. I'm trying to figure out what is really the nicest crew box to paint. And right now, it's still going to be that Colette crew box for me. Even with the one showgirl that I don't like the sculpt of, it's all pretty damn good, right? Okay. Let's get the Dark Oath flesh back out. Things are moving along fairly well. You know, all goes well here. We're going to have, you know, 6 of the minis basically painted. Basically painted. There's still some stuff to go back and probably follow up on. There's probably some places I missed and that kind of stuff. Okay. Where is my Dark Oath? Well, with this done, that means it's only characters to go. So we're gonna take a little more time working on the characters. And fill that all back in. There we go. Looking pretty good. Okay. We also, let's go ahead and do the skeleton horde on the basing. But you can see, I mean, we're just cooking through these. Not much else to say or explain. But if you have questions, let me know. If you're watching this on record and you have questions, let me know in the other comment section. We're just ripping through these. Yeah, that blue is a little too light and a little too clean. We'll have to dirty her up a little bit. Starting to like this one. The little, she's not goth anymore. She's now edgelord. So I guess that one's named Goth, this one's named Edgelord, and the third one's named Canadian. And you guys can vote who is your favorite Ronin, Goth, Edgelord, or Canadian. Okay. Still working hard. Alright, so let's get this Basilicanum Gray going. In fact, I'm going to start on this model so that I can use the Basilicanum Gray on the skirt. And I want to highlight. The. So again, we're painting a sword. Start at the top of the sword, or the end of the sword, and work your way back to the hilt. Push all of that, push the paint back to the hilt. And you'll see you'll kind of pull some of that, you'll pull some of the paint off and move it back. That's okay, right? You leave a little shadow like that, that's okay. Because you want the tip to be closer to white than the rest of the sword there. So that looks okay. Oh, I forgot. I'm going to paint Canadia's. These blades are going to snap. I'm going to tell you right now, Andrew, these blades are going to snap. They're super fiddly. They're super fiddly, and they're just kind of pointing down like that. They're going to snap. They're going to hit something and snap. Let's pull some of that paint off there. In here. Okay. And yeah, I want to dingy up some of this on her specifically. All right, so there we go. There, and you can see Basilicanum Gray is a really nice way to just shade stuff. One of the other things you can do with Basilicanum Gray is you can use it to shade blood red. And it's a really nice way to shade blood red. You can see how it just leaves, for the most part, it leaves the color intact. It's going to dull it down a little bit. And then it's going to form deeper shadows. So you could even leave it like that. Or you could, I'm going to brush some of it out. Right? I don't want too much to be pulling. But I do want to have nice shadow on her cloak there. Okay, cool. I don't want to have so much shadow up there. Okay. I'm gonna cheat a little bit, use it to shade the individual ruffles here on her train or petticoat, right? Cool. And so yeah, looking pretty good. Looking pretty good. And then we're just gonna punch up. You can go to see you can get more contrast. Yes. Yeah. So now edge highlight on her katana. Again, this is just a sharp edge highlight here. Sometimes you gotta be careful about how much paint you physically have on your brush. You really don't want a lot of paint on them. Even that's too much. Right? You're just trying to get a nice edge highlight there. And I'm using kind of the flat gosh, I hear my kid. He's still awake, still screaming. I'm gonna have to go put him to bed soon. Okay. There's that. Right? Again, we're just gonna use the flat of the brush, catch that, and draw it off to the white edge of the sword. The cleaner you can do this, the more convincing that metallic look is. Right? Then we're going to do that here. On these blades, this is going to be a lot harder because these blades are really fiddly. So you got to be careful. Yeah, I can't even really get a good... There we go. I can't really get a good edge highlight on those. They're just tough. I don't know why it looks like she's gonna stab the ground, but it is. It does look like she's gonna stab the ground. That's just the way it's gonna be. Okay. Doing fairly well here. But yeah, that's how we're going to tackle rank and file. Now let's do the Basilicanum Gray to line the bricks on the bases of the model. Sucker Punch battle, ladies. I do like the second edition Sucker Punch ones. I know some people hate them. I like them. They didn't it didn't bother me that much. All right. So we got a nice dull effect on the brick. This one is so goth. Sometimes we just like a goth lady, man. Sometimes you do. Not gonna apologize. Sometimes you just like a goth lady. It's okay. We're allowed to have our taste. Alright. Let's paint the rims here black. And then, yeah, we'll keep the feed open for a little bit longer. If anyone has any questions, comments, threats, you know. Andrew, I hope you like the color scheme on these Ronin. I'm thinking I like a black and turquoise color scheme for the Vicks, We will give them kind of wilder punk rock hair, but their outfits are going to be darker, just to, again, so they match the crew. And then also, I just think it does seem more punk rock to have like more blacks and greens and that kind of stuff. So put her here. This one here, little Annie Oakley. She started off really clean, and now she's got kind of a dirtier dress. Looks good. But yeah, these are moving along pretty nicely, pretty quickly. Later this week, maybe Tuesday, I'm gonna go back to painting some Yoku stuff for Chris. He still has some models in that crew that he wants to finish, and then we're back in like bright colors, right? These are outcasts. These are gonna be in darker colors, but Chris's stuff is gonna be much brighter. You know, Japanese colors like orange, yellow, green, that kind of stuff. All right, and then finally you, Miss Edgelord, Lord of the Edges. So yeah, I am going back to Tuesday nights at CQ. I know that was asked in one of the chats. Going back to Tuesday nights, and we'll see. I want to get new players back into games, so I'm gonna, try to drum up some more interest in Malifaux and possibly Guild Ball. Mostly Malifaux, if I'm being honest with you. Because I think Guild Ball is a game that you sell to hardcore miniature gamers. I think Malifaux you could sell to more casuals. But I'm going to just keep hammering this point home. And yes, this is just my opinion. But I really, really feel strongly that 50 Soul Stones is too much game. It is too much game for your average, for your casual miniature gamer. I really think the standard game of Malifaux sits well at around 35, and I think Henchman Hardcore, you could play with that format a little bit to make it more of a casual style game. Sean and I played 25 Soulstones, and it took 90 minutes to complete. And yeah, there were some long pauses of thought and that kind of stuff. We'll break out the prospectors to show you guys that. There's that kind of stuff that's going on, but it's overall, like, that's a full game. It's a full, satisfying game. 25 Soulstones was a full, satisfying game. 35 is a little better, because you can get, two models that are going to be upwards of 8 to 11 Soulstones in a 35 Soulstone crew. So I think that's good. God, I love Cletus. Look at him, man. Cletus is so dope. Look at that. Yeah, we did stop to shop for contrast paints. We dealt with some Yvonne outburst over wanting to play Yoku. So we had a couple of things going on. I was also setting up at turn 5, I was setting up a Guild Ball game on the other table with Aaron. So yeah, we had stuff. Dude, not bad, right? Bakatora, would you mind playing on a clock? Would playing on a clock be helpful for keeping timing okay? It would, but the only issue with that is the amount of switches you would have to do, right? Typical duel, it's on one player's, the player who declares the action, it's still on their clock. Duel flips, and then if cheating goes to the defender, the clock would flip to the defender, and the defender would have to think, okay, am I going to cheat? Blah 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 blah, and then it would flip back to the attacker. So if you could be super super diligent about that, it's probably it would probably be fine. I think that's the only caveat. If you could be super diligent about that, you'd probably be fine. I do think there needs to be some sort of clock in an organized play situation, because it just the games could just run insanely long. Malifaux is a great game. Do I want to play 50 Soulstones? Yes, I do. Do I want to play 50 Soulstones all the time? Probably not, if I'm being honest with you. And you know what? If everybody else in our meta says, you know what, Octave, I want to play 50 Soulstones, I want to play it all the time, okay, good. Play 50 Soulstones. We'll do 50 Soulstones. But me personally, I like 35. I like 35, and you know, for newbies, I think 20 Soulstones. I really do. It's weird. 20 Soulstones or Henchman Hardcore is fine. Like, newbies are going to be like, I'm going to break out my starter box and probably just play that, maybe add or swap a model. And for a casual game, I think that's fine. Let's bear in mind that Malifaux is a seriously intricate game. Seriously intricate. And so, you know, I'm kind of spoiling a little bit of what came out of the Yvonne interview, but like, she was pretty clear about that. Like, that's a lot of game, man. I was like, we played 30 Soulstones and we only played 3 turns, and she was like tired. She was tired. She was mentally tired from making decisions, flipping duels, and all that kind of thing. Like, we have to think that there's going to be a more mixed community for Malifaux than there would be for Guild Ball. Maybe, you know, when Discord's behaving a little bit better, maybe we have like more of a roundtable discussion around this. But I think that there's an opportunity for 2 versions of Malifaux, in my opinion. I think there is the day-to-day, let's have some fun, but let's have a little bit, like a nice little mix of theme and tactic in there. And I'm thinking, you know, 4 to 6 models, 20 to 30 Soulstones, and just get in there and play a quick game, enjoy your game. You know, you don't have to have these gigantic, long, deep things. You can get a good, quick, tactical game out of Henchman Hardcore. That's the reason why Henchman Hardcore is so popular, is you can get a good... I gotta leave something on screen for you guys to look at. I'm sorry. You can get a good, quick, tactical game. 50 Soulstones? Do I want to play it? I want to play 50 Soulstones with my hardcore miniature gaming friends, because that can be a real tactical contest, right? If we play 50 Soulstones and I'm playing Colette and I have full access to the performer keyword, and we're really gonna see, like, push it to the limits, how well can you do with all your toys on the table versus the other guy's toys on the table, then great, man. That's gonna be awesome. Would I ever expect, you know, someone like an Yvonne to ever play a 50 Soulstone game? Not ever. Not once, not ever. If that's truly how the game is designed, then we need to go back and go, then this game is going to have a small following, in my opinion. You know, somebody like that could be playing 50 Soulstones if she played for like a year, frankly. Maybe not a year. 6 months. If she plays for 6 months and is like really dedicated and like, no, I really love this, I want to learn this, we're going to play this. 6 months, someone as casual as Yvonne could be playing 50 Soulstones. But I just don't see it, man. I don't think I don't think it's realistic. I don't think that's really how you get your community. And bear in mind, you know, when we did SoCal Malifaux was a very mixed community. We had, at the top end, we had some very serious hardcore players at the top level competitive end, but then we had a huge following with casual. And even like the greater Malifaux meta at the time recognizes Southern California was a gigantic meta, but we were a casual meta for the most part. We were a casual meta. There was not this big, heavy, intense, competition. We had the strangest tournaments you could ever imagine down here because they were all really more themed around, and we built the community around continuing to bring in new people. Okay, and I don't know if I don't know how to if that would fly today. Back when Malifaux came out, it was just such a theme. I mean, we were playing at GameCraft. Every time we play at GameCraft, there are like 4 or 5 people every single time. Sometimes at like Friday nights, there's like 10, 12 people that just have to know what we're playing. And we send them over to CQ. Go to CQ, check out this game. Go meet us there during miniature gaming nights. And we'll teach you how to play. I think that's the attitude. If we have to make the decision early on, in my opinion. And I'm sorry, I'm on my soapbox. But, we have to make the decision early on in our meta that the concept that the focus is going to be on growth versus competition. And I strongly feel that way. I think with Guild Ball, we went in and the focus was competition because Guild Ball is a strictly, in my opinion, is pretty much a strictly competitive game. And Guild Ball will always have a competitive following and a base to it. And some people think that about Malifaux, and I'm not saying that that's wrong. I'm saying that I would rather us lay the foundation for a larger player base, like a larger platform of player base, than forcing us all to 50 soul stones immediately. Oh shit, you better pick your faction. You better have your keyword down. You better know how to hire. You better know how to play super fast and super tight, and all your stuff has to work. It really scares me knowing that we have a competitive Guild Ball base that we're converting over to Malifaux without telling that base, like, look guys, this is not the same, okay? One of the issues we had with Guild Ball was we could not, we struggled to grow. We have a very active Guild Ball community, right? And we're super good, like our meta is so strong. We're really strong. And that's fantastic for Guild Ball. For Malifaux, I don't think we can survive that way. I really don't. I think it has to be I think it's got to be more narrative. I think it's got to be hobby focused. I think we have to roll out the carpet for anybody new. One of the best bits of advice that I heard, and this is something that we used to do in SoCal Malifaux, because half of us were henchmen. It felt like it anyways. We had henchmen everywhere. It was like, oh, we know them. They're doing that at their store. We're going to their store this weekend. The one thing that was so great about SoCal Malifaux, it was like if somebody walked up and said, hey man, this looks really interesting. I've never played a miniatures game before, but I would love to learn this. We would stop our game immediately. We would drop what we're doing. Okay, here we go. Let's set it up. We did that all the time. And part of the luxury there was the fact that like that I would game 3 nights a week. It was bad. It was bad. This is before kids, guys. This is before kids. This is when my wife was still in school, very busy all the time, and I had boatloads of time. So, me and Jake built this gigantic community of Malifaux players. It's what we did. It's what we did. But it was based on that. It was based on those concepts that we were just going to keep dragging more and more people in. We were just going to keep being the best, like most casual, most newbie friendly environment you could think of, because like it would break my heart at that point. It would break my heart at that point to see a potentially new interested miniatures gamer go out, and because 40K was the only community in town, that they would walk up, spend $300 on a Space Marine army, and then just stop. Because that's how it worked back then, right? You would have these casual onlookers and like, oh my god, Warhammer 40,000, it was so great. And they would go to a GW, they would go to a Comic Quest, and they would see it. They would get sold on the game. They'd get sold on this idea that they're going to have these giant battles, these giant large cinematic battles. But they didn't know how to put together a miniature. Like, they didn't know how to deal with plastic cement with super glue. They didn't know what kind of clippers to buy. They didn't know what kind of primer to buy. And, you know, they sit down, they paint one miniature. They sit down, they paint one miniature. It takes 4 hours for them to paint one Space Marine. And they just look at that pile of $300 worth of plastic sprues that they just bought. And he's, you know what? I'm going to go back and play World of Warcraft. Yeah, that's it, man. You know what? Because if that's your gateway experience into miniature gaming, at the time, mind you, I'm framing this as at the time. If that was your gateway into miniature gaming, how many people did we lose to that? Right? How many people did we lose to that they were sold a lie, essentially? This is what we're going to do. Oh, yeah. You know, and it's real fast. Just put it together. It's going to be great. And there you go. And now do the next 60. Do the next 60 guardsmen. You know what? Build the next 80 squad or 30-man squad of orc boys or Tyranid Gaunts. And here, build this giant tank. And then, you know, one day you can sit down and play the game. Like, how many people did we lose to that? Right? SoCal Malifaux, when we built that, we were like, no, we're not losing people to that. There are fun people that we want to game with, that we just need to be honest and say, listen, the way we digest these games is different than the way they will digest the game. And one day, we don't know, but one day they will be able to digest the games the way we do. They will want to play 50 Soulstones. They will want to do that kind of stuff. Not all of them. There's going to be some folks that you just always play 25 Soulstones with, and that's fine. And you know what those folks are going to do? They're going to bring their friends in because they like that style of game. They're going to be done in an hour and a half, you know? And that's cool. They're not going to show up for the heavy tournaments, because we're probably only going to throw 2 or 3 large tournaments a year. Those folks aren't going to show up for that kind of stuff. You know what they are going to show up for, though? They're going to show up for one-day achievement leagues. They're going to show up for newbie days. They're going to show up for hobby days. They're going to bake cakes that say SoCal Malifaux on them. They're going to show up for our karaoke tournaments. They're going to do and that's your bread. In my opinion, it's not the 50 Soulstone crowd that's your bread and butter. Your bread and butter is the 25 Soulstone casual crowd. You keep that crowd happy, the competitive folks are just gonna do what they do, right? They're gonna still play their strong competitive games, and as long as expectations are clear at the onset, it's gonna work out fine. Like I said, we had a good mix of competitive players and non-competitive players. So, yeah, narrative player through the breach. Yes, exactly, right? I mean, it's a bummer that we lost that earlier interview with Yvonne, but she was saying, I want to get into the narrative. I want to get into the fluff. That's my main thing. You know, I'm not here to be the next Malifaux champion. I'm not here to own 12 factions and know every model's rules backwards and forwards. Yeah, yeah, karaoke tournament. Yeah, that was really a thing, man. Anyway, you got to ask Mark about those days. But yeah, I think it's a different approach. I think for this game, we play at the low soulstone cost. But if Kevin says, "Hey, I want to play 50 soulstones, Octave, are you down?" Okay, I'll give up it. You give up 2.5 hours to play 50 soulstones. I will play that. It'll be fun. If you guys if Andrew I want to play 50 soulstones tonight. Let's break out our toys. Let's go for the big boys, right? Maybe you're practicing for LVO. Maybe it's something like that. Totally down for that. Let's do that. But during that game, I'm just telling you right now, man. During that game, there's a new player who shows up, and they're not some psycho irritating dude, because that happens sometimes. And it's like, hey, I've never played a miniatures game. What can you show me about this game? I'm going to stop our game. I'm going to tell you right now. Okay, no, let's teach you real quick. Andrew, you can kick my ass later. We'll have weeks to practice where you could kick my ass at 50 soulstones. I'm going to teach this person how to play, right? Because this person can show up twice a month on Tuesdays, and we can have fun. This player could be, this player could be playing Kalodi. This player could be playing something that we don't have. They could be playing something that we don't see. It could be very fun, So that's my soapbox speech, guys. Is this has got to be different. This has got to be growth focused. If we really want to continue to play Malifaux. Is it great that we all have 6 crews at this point? Yes, it's great. I love. I'm gonna have 12 crews. I'm gonna sell 8 of them, keep 4 crews, and build my way back up to the next 12. That's how I'm gonna be. I get that, but it keeps it fresh for all of us. But once you play with a wide array of players, especially Malifaux, people attracted to Malifaux are fun people. That's the one thing. I'm going to tell you right now. The people that... Geez, we stopped painting 20 minutes ago. But yeah. The people that are attracted to, let's just say it, the 40K players, they all kind of, for the most part, they fit that shtick. They fit that Warhammer... that wargaming shtick. What's up, Almost Home? Welcome to the feed. You're in the middle of my soapbox speech, so I apologize. I promise you there was painting earlier. See? There was painting that happened. If you want to see how this stuff happened, go back there and watch the earlier stuff. But anyway, my point is this. You have that wargaming crowd, right? They might have played the Warhammer video games. They're out there for war. They're out there for that particular thing. The people that are attracted to Malifaux, that just walk in off the streets, that might be a board game player, might be a comic book collector, might be a D&D player. They're here for theme, right? They saw something. They're like, holy crap, what is that? Why can't I be a part of that? Right? When you explain to them, this is a wargaming piece. This is a wargaming piece. We fight... Oh, let's paint her hair. Gosh. Let's do something while I'm on my soapbox. Let's do something. Here's the one with the cigarette. Here. The anti-smoking people. Go ahead. You triggered? You upset? It's a miniature. It's okay. It's going to be fine, people. Anyways. But yeah. Consider that. Consider the fact that when we did SoCal Malifaux, I'm going to be conservative and say at least 25% of our player base were people that never played miniature games before. But they were attracted to this game because this game has aesthetics and themes that you're not going to find in standard war games. You're a redhead, lady. I'm telling you right now. You're a redhead. No matter what you were thinking before. I was thinking maybe she was going to be a brunette, but I already made the red hair color, so let's just do it. And think about that. These are really... We have the potential to have a lot of really, really cool people with different perspectives on things and different takes we had people, like I said, that baked cakes for us. So we had people that there was a guy who did clay sculpting and woodworking, and he handmade all of his like basing, and he made like this elaborate puppet thing for Collodi when Collodi was a thing, and in 1.5, and it was awesome. And then he passed away, and it was so sad. He gave me some of the stuff that he hand sculpted, and it was so cool. But it's stuff like that, man. There are people that are friends of mine specifically from SoCal Malifaux. My buddy who I went to his daughter's first birthday. He's the other half of Play It Painted. His name is Phil. You know where we met? We met through Malifaux. We met through SoCal Malifaux. There are friends of mine for life that we met through Malifaux. And I met most of you guys through miniature gaming, some form or other. And it's fantastic. But Malifaux specifically was just like this really, it was like lightning in a bottle. So much. It affected, it's so weird, but it, just that community, not necessarily the game, but the community kind of like we affected each other's lives in ways that we, like, nobody could have accounted for. And I know it just sounds really overly dramatic or whatever, but no, that's serious, man. Like, it's weird how that singular event just went on to just shape so many things. Guild Ball in our city is dead. Aw, man. You saw the German battle reports. You played 3 games, 40k Malifaux and Guild Ball. Yeah. Cool, man. Well, I appreciate you tuning in to us, because we're planning on making more content here. I do have a couple of Malifaux videos in the pipeline. One of them is a 25 Soulstone match report. The other is kind of it's a post-game interview with Yvonne, who is absolutely brand spanking new to miniature games. And I'm telling you, when you hear the perspective of somebody that's truly on the outside and hear her take on how the game should be, how the hobby should be, how the community should be, it's just awesome. It's just awesome, man. It's I think like everybody who cares about getting people into miniature gaming will get something from that video. I'm like, I can't hype that enough. I think it's just such a great interview. Like, what she shared in the second interview was so great. I wish I didn't have the mic failure in the first interview, because then you'd have both of her perspectives to be able to compare. I'm not sure what the secondary color should be. Dang, man, yeah, Guild Ball community pretty aggro. Yeah, but Guild Ball is I think Guild Ball has kind of put itself in a corner at this point. It's a competitive game. It will always be a competitive game. I don't expect it to, I'm not asking it to be anything else. But also, it's just not going to see a casual home. It's not going to see a widespread community the way the developers would love it to. It's because it's a niche competitive game, and it's a great game, and I love Guild Ball, don't get me wrong, but it will never sort of be Guild Ball will not be a household name that people go to for miniature games. It's going to be it will always go down as one of the best examples of how to do a competitive miniatures game. Okay. We're just painting her for fun. I should be going to bed, if I'm being honest with you, but let's just paint a little bit more. Just paint a little bit more, because I like this discussion. Yeah, I met Octave through Malifaux back in the day. So first SoCal SmackDown. Yeah. I don't know. I'm a little scared of becoming a henchman. Because, you know, Jose knows that was my gig, right? I did that for, I don't know how many, I did that for what, 3 years or something? The first 3 years of Malifaux before version 2. And like when I volunteer, you guys know, when I jump in and volunteer for a game, like I go all in, right? I really don't half-ass that. I go all in, and that's it scares me, because it's like, that's, you know, I want it to be successful and I want it to be wonderful, but I don't want to give up. I don't want the expectation on me to be like how it was back in the heyday, because I can't do that anymore. You know, I got kids now. I can't be like, oh yeah, let's all get in a car, drive up to Sacramento, play some Malifaux over the weekend, come back on Sunday night. We can't. Oh no, I dropped out of the henchman program 2013 or something like that. I dropped out during 2E. And the reason I told Nathan and Nathan Carolyn, my reason back then was because, you know, it was truthful, was because I'm gonna have kids, right? I'm gonna have kids. I gave my heart and soul to Malifaux. I also was upfront and said I didn't like 2nd edition, a fact which got back to Don. It was like the hate that was heard round the world that I did not like Malifaux 2nd edition. But yeah, I got out at that point, right? And but my official reason to Nathan was that I'm having, you know, I'm gonna go have kids, and that was all true. Went out, had kids. I dropped out of all of my convention duties, you know, including Comic-Con. Stayed on for Kingdom Con. That was it. Kingdom Con was the only one I kept. And, you know, now that the boys are getting older, and, you know, and my schedule is still pretty good for like the weekly game and that kind of thing. You know, there was all of that going on. So I don't know. I don't know what my commitment would be like now. If you want to know my honest kind of quote unquote plan for this whole thing, was let's throw an event. Let's see what interest is. And if interest is good, we'll do I'll give up one Saturday, or I'll give up one weekend event every quarter to do a Malifaux tournament or a Malifaux intro day, right? And we'll weigh it. We'll weigh it as we go. As interest starts to grow on the Malifaux side, and you know, and as our Guild Ball stuff, you know, starts to really settle down, maybe even stagnate a little bit, then I'll start shifting it the other way, right? I'll do 2 months, I'll do Malifaux content, and then we'll throw a Guild Ball tournament every 3 months instead, right? That's the idea. Is if I'm gonna juggle all of these things, that we're gonna kind of let the growth of those two relative communities determine where the needs are, right? Am I more needed to run Guild Ball stuff? Am I more needed to run Malifaux stuff? You know, we don't know yet. So that's where I'm at there. If somebody wants to step in and say, I will be a henchman for the CQ group, good. Let them run the events. That's fine. That's actually great. I can stay with the Guild Ball stuff. And I can, when time allows, I can attend Malifaux stuff. For a while there, I wasn't sure. I thought maybe Spencer would be interested in being the henchman for CQ. I don't know. We'll have to see how that goes, frankly. Would I want to hench again? Sure, I would. That's fine. It would be fine. As long as expectations were not, hey, we want you to do all of the shit that you used to do for SoCal Malifaux. As long as the expectations aren't that, I think we're pretty good. Oh gosh. Yeah, she has this black like tank top on underneath her little corset. Okay. She's covered up a little bit more than the other showgirls are. We're gonna give her a break, okay? I already clowned her hard on that one feed. But, Sean, I totally agree. We kind of have a more generalized community. We have people that we're all kind of following these games together, right? We're all playing Guild Ball. We're all playing Relic Blade. We're all playing Aristea. We're all playing Malifaux. The games might be different, but the core of that community is the same. It's about the same dozen players, and I think that bears some mentioning, right? Because if it's the same dozen players, then it's easier to contain expectations, and people aren't completely freaked out that their favorite game isn't the most represented one at the time, right? I know there was a little bit of frustration from, say, Matt when we really dove hard into Malifaux, because we were kind of, at the time, we were all kind of about to do like a more serious deep dive into Aristea. But, the winds took us to Malifaux. Now I think Matt's happy as shit, right? Matt's completely down to play lots and lots of Malifaux with us, which is great. Yeah, I got suckered into painting this model because we were just talking. So I'm going to fix the back of her neck there because the t-shirt just does weird stuff. I think Malifaux has tons of potential. I do think that we should focus on community days. Yeah, I agree. Our outreach back in the day was so strong. That was what we really focused on, was outreach. We hit all the shows. We went into board game groups. We went into RPG groups. We joined local gaming clubs to show them Malifaux. We were, like I said, we were really all about it, man, back in the day. This is not gonna work. Your shirt is weird, miss. Yeah. It's just, she just has such a frustrating design. What am I doing here? Is that why I don't really like painting this particular model? Maybe. He does have a very frustrating design. Maybe she's just kind of done. That's the other. We could always just agree there that she's just kind of done. There we go. We're just gonna We're just gonna shade that up a little bit. Just a weird miniature. Okay. Yeah, sure, we get it. Yeah. It's okay, she's just done, guys. I'm gonna put her in with the other showgirls, and she will not really see much action unless there's a weird time where I feel like fielding 3 showgirls. Let's see. Oh, I see. You love Guild Ball, but you have less stress playing Malifaux. I can totally see that. Right now, for me, Guild Ball, I think, for me, plays a little more on autopilot these days. Like, even with the new stuff, the new 4.2 stuff, I'm still like, okay, here's how I'm going to handle my influence. Here's my activation order. Here's how I'm going to pivot. Okay, there we go. We pivoted. Like, it's all Guild Ball to me feels more like on autopilot. Win or lose, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna lose this matchup. Not much I can do. There we go. Malifaux for me is very much still in the experimental phase. What happens if I take this? Let's pick this weird scheme that makes no sense for me to take. Let's not take a Soulstone Miner this game. Let's figure out if the performers can actually do anything good. So I get into more of an experimental mode playing Malifaux right now. Yeah, autopilot Tapper, like autopilot Midas. I think right now, if me and Andrew played a game, we would even know each other's moves. we would just go there. Yeah, you're gonna do that. There you go. There you go. Yeah. There you go. You do that. Sure. And then the game's gonna be over. I'm like, yeah, that was Guild Ball. Okay, cool, good game. That's exactly what would happen. It would just be like that, and then handshake. Okay, yeah, good game, cool. Thanks, buddy. See you next time. All right. Play Butchers and Hunters, so you know what you mean with autopilot. Yeah. Well, Hunters have a little. Well, if you're playing Theron Hunters, it's a little less autopilot. But even then, there's still a certain algorithm you can follow with Theron. If you're playing Scatha, it's much more autopilot. Yeah. All right, guys. It is now midnight, and I painted one more miniature than I was supposed to. But let's go through again. Here's what we did. Hope you guys enjoyed the feed. That was like 2 hours of painting, an hour of soapbox. I'll just say, yeah, when we go back and watch this, you can stop. The minute I say soapbox, you can stop watching the feed. There's going to be no more painting. It's just going to be me rambling on. But that's what we're talking about. Thanks, everyone, for watching. Have a good night, everybody. And, yeah, we'll catch you on the next one. Will it let me? There we go.